Hey, what's up? My name is Brandon Simmons, and I'm a writer for Boss Sports. And I'm going to give you my Eastern Conference playoff picks. The first matchup that I have is the Atlanta Hawks versus the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give Atlanta this series in 6 games, only because they've been playing solid all season and earning themselves the second best record in the league. On top of that, they've managed to remain in the top 10 in offensive and defensive categories. As for the Brooklyn Nets, all I can say for them is that they have Coach Lionel Hollins on their side. Hollins used to coach the Memphis Grizzlies, and they would knock off some pretty good teams in the Western Conference playoffs when it came around postseason time. So I'll give them 2 games for Hollins' expertise, but don't expect this to be a competitive series at all. Speaking of don't expect them to be a competitive series, the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Boston Celtics. Now, let's just go ahead and sweep the Celtics out of the picture, because we all know whichever team LeBron James is on in the first round is going to be a problem. On top of that, the Cavaliers have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. They traded for Iman Shumpert and J.R. Smith, so their bench is loaded. The whole team is stacked. Boston has whoever they have on their team. Plus, they also kind of backed into the playoffs a little bit in the latter part of the season. So I'm going to go ahead and give Cleveland this 4-game sweep so they can be ready for this next round. The next matchup that I have is the Chicago Bulls versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, this is one of those matchups where I take into the inconsistency of the Eastern Conference. Because even though Chicago is a 3 seed and Milwaukee is a 6 seed, I can see both of these teams kind of clashing with each other. The reason being is that the Bulls have Derrick Rose this season. Now, everybody would think that's a good thing. What's so wrong with that? Well, the problem is they're so used to playing without Derrick Rose. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare with him in the system, especially since he's coming back off that 6-week injury. So, for the Bucks, I give credit to Jason Kidd for bringing them back up after winning 15 games last season, and now this season they've netted a 6 seed. But still, I think I'm going to give this series to the Bulls in 7 games. My last pick is going to be between the Toronto Raptors and the Washington Wizards. Now, the Raptors, they're a relatively young team. I think the oldest person on there is 31. But they've been to the playoffs last year. Coincidentally, they were playing the Brooklyn Nets, but they lost, even despite the fact that they had home court advantage. So in this game, I'm going to give the Wizards the series in 7 because I feel the threats of John Wall and Bradley Beal are going to be too much for the Raptors to take. And on top of that, when you combine Wall and Beal with the veteran leadership of Nene as well as Paul Pierce, the Raptors are not going to know what to do with themselves other than get a bunch of limp rollers to wipe off the shame and embarrassment of losing a second straight first-round series. I'm Brandon Simmons for Boss Sports. Those are my Eastern Conference playoff picks.